And that is it for the match day 2 of Real Madrid's La Liga campaign for the 2025-2026 season. They take the 3 points 3-0 against Real Oviedo. And today I want to focus the attention on one person in particular, and that being Aurelien Tchouameni. Today, this performance, what we saw from him in this performance was it was special. This guy, man, this guy was literally everywhere on the pitch. I shit you not. At one point, I thought there were like 3 or 4 Chouamenis playing. He was in attacking areas. He was in defensive areas. He was playing. He was connecting the midfield to the attack. He was connecting the defense to the midfield. This guy, his profile, his aerial threat, his physicality, his tackling, what we saw from him today, I cannot overstate how great Chouameni is under Xabi Alonso and how much this type of profile and this type of performance can translate against big teams like Atleti, like Barcelona, like Liverpool, like Arsenal. All of these teams, what we saw today from Aurelien Tchouameni is exactly the type of performance that translates against these bigger teams, and the type of performances that we want to see from our center defensive mids. And for me, I feel like under Xabi Alonso, Chouameni is a top 2 defensive midfielder in the world, maybe the best defensive midfielder in the world. Um, for me, he was clearly the standout man of the match performer. I know Mbappe scored 2 goals, very, very clinical in the final third today from Mbappe. But for me, the way Chouameni was just involved in shutting down a lot of Real Oviedo's attacks, the way he was just physical, just dominant, he just looked a level above everyone in terms of physicality, in terms of force, and that's something that we need in a lot of those bigger games against teams like Arsenal, against teams like Atleti, against teams like Barcelona. It's like where we lack in technicality, we have to be able to make up in physicality and force. And Chouameni brings that aerial threat. He brings that just physicality, that tackling, that defensive presence, that solidity. And today for me, he was incredible. He was so incredible. 8.2 from Foot Mob is a massive disservice. I think he was an 8.8 at least. He was, for me, an incredible player today. For me, the man of the match, like I said. But I want to touch on a couple of key players in our attack quickly here. Mbappe obviously just looks so sharp, looks decisive. He looks clinical. I mean, this guy he's taking his chances. Obviously, I think today he had 4 total shots. Oh, excuse me, not 4. He had 7 total shots. Obviously, 2 goals. But he just looks confident. He looks sharp. He looks decisive. He looks like he knows what he wants to do before he even receives the ball. Obviously, he was the player of the match today. But for me, I think one criticism of Mbappe's game that it just frustrates me is his lack of positioning. He does not stay in central areas, and it kills us because whenever we have attacks and we're attacking on the wings, either Carreras or Carvajal or Mastantuono or Rodrigo, whoever's on the wings, whenever we're attacking on the wings, there's no central threat. There's no central threat because Mbappe is always drifting out wide. He's always drifting on the edge of the box. He always wants to receive the ball. And I understand that if you want to do that sometimes to link up play, to do different things, to be creative, but it's too frequent. We have no box presence. And I think that sometimes that can bite you in the ass in big games. And I feel like Mbappe, it's like the positioning. I don't know if that's the game plan or if that's the strategy from Xabi Alonso's coaching staff, but for me, it's incredibly frustrating when we have crosses. I think there was a cross from Chouameni or a cross from Rodrigo that was whipped in to the central area, and there was nobody on the end of it because we had no central threat because our center forward was on the outside of the box. And for me, that's the one criticism I have of Mbappe's performances thus far under Xabi Alonso is his positioning. It's just not there as a 9, and I understand it's like he's maybe adapting, or it's like he's just so used to being on the flanks or out wide. But as a 9, we need the threat in central areas. So for me, he has to adjust that. And I think obviously when Jude comes back, I think there's going to be a more aerial, there's going to be a more box threat, and Mbappe might be able to drift out wide, or drift on the flanks a little bit more, or drift outside the box. But without Jude Bellingham, I think he needs to focus his attention more centrally, and I think he would double his output, honestly, if he did. And then the last two attackers I quickly want to touch on are Rodrigo and Vinicius Jr. And today, I was honestly content with Rodrigo's performance. I thought Rodrigo had a solid showing. 7.3 is probably what I would give him in terms of a rating. Obviously, I think he did some good things. He linked up play well. In terms of technical ability, you can see how technical Rodrigo is in those tight spaces. When he gets into the box, when he starts dribbling into the box, it's almost like the ball is just glued to his feet. And the close control, it's the defenders don't want to get near him, because they're afraid that if they get too close to him, or he might shift, change direction, he might be able to draw a foul in the box. And so you can see the technicality that Rodrigo brings, and I think it's sort of a different profile and attitude to Vinicius Jr. And I think that with the amount of games that we're going to play across all different competitions this season, I just can't wrap my head around the fact that the board wants to sell Rodrigo in this window. It just, to me, does not make sense when he brings such a technical aspect to our team that I feel oftentimes is missing. It's like he can create something out of nothing in a lot of those tight spaces. He's incredibly technical, just insane close control, and I think you saw it on a lot of examples in today's match against Oviedo. But for me, Vinicius Jr., I was so proud of the way he came in, the way he responded to being sat on the bench today. 1 goal, 1 assist. I think he was incredibly decisive. The pressing, aggressive, the hunger. That's what the attitude, the hunger, the relentlessness that we saw from Vinicius Jr. is what we want to see moving forward. Like I said, incredibly, that the finish that he had today, clinical. The pass to Mbappe, that's the link up we want to see. I think Vinicius Jr., the way we saw him respond today was a huge positive for Madridistas moving forward. But Vinicius just very decisive, very hungry, very relentless today. I think you saw he was demonstrative, he was attacking, he was linking up play. When he first came on, initially it was a little bit shaky, but then he got it together. I think he was very good, and this is sort of the type of performance that we want to see from Vinicius when he's back starting matches, and I obviously think that he's going to be back starting matches in match day 3. But positive signs for Madrid. I think clearly a lot of things to work on, because we still did struggle with that low block in the first half. But positive signs. We take the 3 points and we move to match day 3. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are on the match down in the comment sections below. Who is your man of the match? And let me know your individual player ratings and what your thoughts are. And if you're new, make sure you drop a thumbs up on this video to support and subscribe to the channel. And we are out.